Hi BookTube, and welcome to a new video. This is a Tag Tuesday video. I finally got myself organised to record one ahead of time so that I could upload on Tuesday. This is the Book Snob book tag by Tia and all the books, and I shall post the link to her video. I wasn't tagged, but I quite fancy it because some people probably call me a book snob, and these prompts may or may not give testimony to that. Okay, question 1. Adaptation Snob. Do you always read the book before you see the movie? Well, my response to this is simple. I always read the book and never see the movie. I will post the link to my diatribe against movie makers being lazy in not coming up with their own screenplays that are generally in the language of film. 2. Format Snob. You can only choose one format in which to read books for the rest of your life. Which one do you choose? Physical books, ebooks or audiobooks? Well, this isn't a push because I really only have one format, and that is print books. I do have a couple of books on, I don't own a Kindle, but I have like the Kindle app on my laptop. There are a couple of books there I downloaded because they were free, or at the time they weren't out in print. And I haven't read them. I find it a real strain reading anything of length on a computer. One of them is the Yellow Wallpaper, which I really should get around to reading. 3. Ship Snob. Would you date or marry a non-reader? By ship, I assume that means relationship rather than ship out a partner. Would I date or marry a non-reader? Well, I would, as long as they didn't sort of keep harassing me in my reading time, wanting to be entertained, or not understanding that I needed quiet time to read. My wife is a reader, although it's fair to say we don't read anything of the same at all. 4. Genre Snob. You have to ditch one genre, never to be read again for the rest of your life. Which one do you ditch? This is tricky for me because I don't really read genres. Occasionally I read some sci-fi, and even more occasionally sort of mystery thriller or police procedural or whatever. Of course, you know, is non-fiction a genre? I don't see that it is. But other than that, I don't read genre at all. So if I had to ditch one of the few I read, I read too few crime thrillers these days for it to be any kind of loss to ditch it. So I guess I'd have to say sci-fi, which would hurt a little bit. So I would stick with my literary fiction, which I reject as a genre in and of itself. To me, that's a genre when you can't place a book in any of the other genres. And I'm assuming that in literary fiction that subsumes experimental and avant-garde fiction, because they don't seem to be separate genres. So it's a bit difficult for me answering this question. If it's which genre would I wish was obliterated and never saw the light of day again in the publishing industry, that would be self-help books. 5. Uber Genre Snob. You can only choose to read from one genre for the rest of your life. Which genre do you choose? Oh, well, I've just answered that, I suppose, in that it's the non-genre called literary fiction, and again with the caveats that there are no separate genres of experimental or avant-garde. 6. Community Snob. Which genre do you think receives the most snobbery from the bookish community? Well, I think any booktuber's answer to this is going to depend what camp they stand in. Now, obviously there are some booktubers who read across all genres, but mainly I think a lot of booktubers come down, you know, there are your YA YouTubers, there are your genre YouTubers, and there are your literary fiction YouTubers. And your literary fiction YouTubers will be totally snobbish about any genre. Your genre readers will tend to be really snobbish about literary fiction. So, you know, take your pick really. YA is another one. Did I say YA? And you know, I read what I take to be serious fiction. I don't read genre fiction, so I suppose I'm a bit of a snob against genre fiction and YA, but I don't read them, so I'm not going to put someone down for talking. I'm not going to watch their videos about them, but I'm not going to put someone down if that's what they read. We will never interact, so that's the only way I can answer that question. Snobbery Recipient. Have you ever been snubbed for something that you've been reading, or for reading in general? I honestly can't say I have. The only situation I can imagine is because I read on my commute underground train to and from work, And if someone saw the cover of my book and sort of leant over and attacked me for it, but it's a pretty far-fetched scenario because Londoners don't talk to strangers anyway. They use their books to hide from each other. I can't think of a single instance. And also, if someone leans over to criticise the fact that I'm reading Sam Lipsyte's Hark, I'd be bloody impressed that they knew who Sam Lipsyte was. So I just can't see that happening. And as I say, I can't think of an instance where it has happened. And then to BookTube, to tag some BookTubers. Well, I'm going to tag big hard classics and books. I saw Celia was tagged in this, so I won't re-tag her. I'll tag Elizabeth at Bookish North. I will tag Brian at Bookish. And I'll tag Beth Chats Books. Okay, so till next time, thanks very much.